Coronation Street airs a worrying trial twist tonight as evil Megan Walsh looks set to walk free in a shocking development. Megan's manipulation pays off when Will crumbles while giving evidence in court, now feeling unable to condemn his former teacher to a prison sentence. Viewers have seen Megan continue her cruel attempts to control Will over the past few weeks, as she sees this as her last chance to avoid jail. In tonight's double episode, she also gets her mum Janine involved in trying to manipulate Will and the wider Driscoll family. Taken in by her daughter's false version of events, Janine secretly confronts Will and questions him on whether Megan deserves punishment when she seemed to truly love him. While this is clearly a warped view of the situation, it's among the many factors playing on Will's mind as he's called to give evidence in court. During his testimony, Will is met with Megan's steely gaze and shocks everyone by abruptly changing his story with a lie to protect her. "I'm sorry, I can't do this," Will explains. "There was no relationship. I wanted it to be true but I knew it wasn't, okay? She was my coach and that's all. She's done nothing wrong. I made it all up." Following Will's emotional outburst, the jury is sent home and the future of the trial is left uncertain. It's not the end of the story, though, with the prosecution still hopeful that Will could be put back on the stand in an attempt to limit the damage. But with things looking shaky, would this be enough to see Megan sent down? Aaron McCusker, who plays Will's dad Ben, recently explained, "This is a huge moment for them all but they don't want Will to feel under any more pressure so they are trying to be very pragmatic about it and accept that it might not go the way they want it to. They feel they have done enough and she has been exposed for the sort of woman she really is, but it is all in the hands of the jury and we all know Megan is a master manipulator. Let's not forget she had the whole family fooled." Coronation Street has delivered yet another jaw-dropping chapter in one of its darkest storylines, as the latest early ITVX episode completely changes the future of Will Driscoll and Megan Walsh. Just when viewers believed they knew where the heartbreaking saga was heading, the soap unveiled a stunning twist that leaves everyone questioning whether justice, love, or manipulation will ultimately win. For months, fans have watched Will struggle under Megan's influence. The teenager has been emotionally manipulated into believing that the controversial relationship is genuine, despite repeated warnings from his family. Every attempt by Ben, Maggie, and Ollie to rescue him has been met with resistance, making the storyline one of the most emotional and unsettling plots on the cobbles. But this latest episode changes everything. The drama begins with Tim trying one last time to reach Will before it's too late. Convinced that the teenager is preparing to leave Weatherfield forever with Megan, Tim offers him what appears to be a lift to the airport. Will, believing he is finally escaping everyone standing in the way of his future, climbs into the car with renewed hope. Unknown to him, Tim has a very different destination in mind. Instead of heading toward the airport, Tim quietly drives to the local police station. As they arrive, Will immediately realizes he has been tricked. Furious and devastated, he lashes out at Tim, accusing him of betraying his trust and destroying the only future he believes he has left. Tim refuses to back down. Rather than arguing, he calmly asks Will to think about everyone who has been affected by Megan's actions. He reminds the teenager that true love should never involve secrecy, isolation, or fear. He also points out that Megan may already have abandoned him, taking the money and boarding passes for herself. Those words begin to crack Will's confidence. For the first time in months, viewers see genuine uncertainty on his face. The certainty that Megan always encouraged begins to disappear as doubt slowly replaces blind loyalty. Then comes the episode's biggest surprise. In an emotional and completely unexpected moment, Will walks into the police station, not to fight, but to embrace his father, Ben. The hug lasts only a few seconds, but it speaks louder than any conversation. It represents the possibility that Will is finally beginning to understand the extent of Megan's manipulation. Ben, overwhelmed with emotion, can barely believe what has happened. After months of failed rescue attempts, heartbreaking confrontations, and sleepless nights worrying about his son, he finally has reason to hope that Will may be coming home emotionally as well as physically. Meanwhile, Megan's future suddenly looks far less certain. Earlier episodes suggested she planned to flee the country alongside Will, believing they could start a completely new life together. She convinced Will that everyone else wanted to tear them apart and that leaving Weatherfield was their only chance at happiness. But the latest revelations suggest those plans may already be falling apart. The biggest bombshell comes as it becomes clear that Megan is expecting a baby. However, an even more shocking revelation soon follows. The child is reportedly not Will's but Ollie's. That revelation completely changes the emotional stakes. Will believed he was building a future with Megan, imagining a family and a fresh start. Instead, he may have been manipulated into sacrificing everything for someone who was never being truthful with him. If confirmed, the news could finally destroy the emotional hold Megan has maintained over him since the storyline began. For Ben and Maggie, the development offers hope but also raises difficult questions. Can Will ever fully recover from the emotional trauma he has experienced? Will he forgive himself for pushing away everyone who genuinely cared about him? And perhaps most importantly, can the Driscoll family ever return to normal after everything that has happened? Ollie also finds himself caught in an impossible situation. Already struggling with the family's complicated history, he must now confront revelations that could permanently alter his relationship with both Will and Megan. The emotional fallout promises to be enormous. Viewers have praised the storyline for refusing to offer easy answers. Instead of presenting simple heroes and villains, Coronation Street has explored how manipulation gradually isolates victims from the people who love them most. Will's journey has highlighted just how difficult it can be for someone under emotional control to recognize the truth, even when everyone around them can see the danger. His embrace with Ben therefore feels significant, not because every problem has suddenly disappeared, but because it represents the first genuine step toward recovery. That doesn't mean the danger is over. Megan remains unpredictable, and if she realizes Will is slipping away, she could become even more desperate to regain control. Soap fans know that desperate characters often make reckless decisions, meaning the biggest twists may still lie ahead. Could Megan attempt one final escape? Will new evidence finally ensure she faces justice? Or does she still have another shocking secret capable of turning the entire storyline upside down? Coronation Street has become famous for delivering emotionally charged storylines that balance family drama with suspense, and this latest episode proves exactly why the soap continues to captivate millions of viewers. The combination of heartbreaking performances, unexpected revelations, and complex family relationships has transformed the Will and Megan saga into one of the show's most talked about stories of the year. As Will finally begins to question everything he believed, the balance of power appears to be shifting. For Ben, there is cautious optimism. For Megan, there is growing uncertainty. And for Coronation Street fans, one thing is certain: this explosive storyline is far from over. With new secrets emerging and loyalties constantly shifting, Weatherfield could be heading toward an even bigger showdown that changes the lives of the Driscoll family forever. The latest ITVX episode marks a turning point, but it feels much more like the beginning of the final battle than the end of the story. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.